Hello, I'm Luke, and today's question that I have for you is, what is our collective purpose? The last time I posted, we were looking at why we're here. What is the purpose of all this? Why are we actually here? But now that we've kind of gone through that space and seen, different examples of why we believe ourselves to be here, the next question that I have is, what is our collective purpose? So for me, I believe we're here for the growth of our spiritual faculties. That's what we're doing for the next world. But how do we grow those spiritual faculties? What is the collective purpose for all of us that we're here? So I've been doing some research as we do, and I've been going through and having a look at, well, how do you apply yourself? How do you build those spiritual practices? And the one thing that's really stood true, and I guess this has really stood true for me as an individual, but also through reading different types of spiritual text, is that of service. Now, again, speaking about the Baha'i faith, the latest revelation, that's pretty much what a lot of the information is built on, is looking at how service is in fact prayer. And we'll go into that in a minute. But as I go all the way back, even looking back to a time of, to Christianity and going through the Old and New Testaments there, I mean, service is riddled and has been riddled through all of our spiritual text in terms of serving other people. And I found a number of different quotes that resonate with this. But the one that is the most recent that I want to go over with everyone here is from the Words of Paradise, from Baha'u'llah, who's the founder of the Baha'i faith, who says, O son of man, if thine eyes be turned towards mercy, forsake the things that profit thee, and cleave unto that which will profit mankind. I love that, but what I also love is where Abdu'l-Baha continues on and says that service is prayer. He also says that what worship is to serve mankind and to minister to the needs of the people. And that is ultimately what that faith has been built on. And as we look through all of the different spiritual texts that come through service. So it's almost like looking at, well, what is service then? What is this notion of service, and how is that going to help build ourselves up? Well, I then had to look at a few different scientific studies, because one of my favorite things is, looking at, well, okay, spiritual texts may say one thing, but what have we been able to discover within this space ourselves? And I was looking at this one study that goes through and it looks at a notion of, well, if you've had a bad day or if something's gone wrong, whether you should do something good for yourself or whether you should do something good for other people. And part of that study was looking at what they called pro-social behavior, and they put it to a test and had a range of different people do it. And the outcome for it was that those who were doing things that were deemed as pro-social behavior, so reaching out and serving other people, in fact took or had much higher happiness ratings than those who just did for themselves. Now, that kind of seems a little bit airy-fairy, I guess, but as you go through and you see these different studies, it was fascinating to see that the science that we have is in fact backing up these spiritual theories. For me, that speaks volumes. And why does it speak volumes? Well, me personally, I like to serve other people. I've built my life around doing that, and I did that even before I started looking at spiritual texts. Having lived in Nepal and doing development work there, over in South Africa, also within communities in Australia, this act of service and serving other people has always brought about happiness. So for me, what theory have I come up with so far? I believe our collective purpose is not only to fulfill this spiritual growth that we have, but also to do that through serving other people. I think service is something that's underestimated. I think we are in a time where we have so much going on, so much information, so many material things being thrown at us. And I look at people who hold significant material wealth, and unless they're doing something significant with that, they're either really lost in that space of material greed and whatever else comes with it, or they're offering that to other people and they're continuing to serve. And those who continue to do that, good on them, and that looks like they have an amazing life. And those who don't look like they are so miserable within that space. So I believe in service. I think our collective purpose is here to serve. What do you think? Have I missed something here? Am I looking at it one way? Have you found other ways of being able to define what would be a collective human purpose? Is it to be here and be divided and be obsessed with material wealth and material things and to go to work and do the grind every single day and hustle that money? Is that really what our collective purpose is? Or is that just part of what we're doing? And is there something far greater than that? I'd love to hear your thoughts.